Welcome back to Ozarks Tonight. A sweet piece of Ozarks history. That's what we're talking about tonight, and we're welcoming back Caitlin McConnell with Ozarks Alive. Caitlin, thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
I am excited about this. We were talking about your latest article on your blog, Ozarks Alive. It's about pie, something a lot of people love, and about the pie suppers, a sweet piece, as you called it, of Ozarks history. Tell me a little bit more about that.
You know, it was interesting because, pie suppers are something that you do see versions of in the Ozarks today, but really it's a tradition that goes back a really long time. So pie suppers were something that were traditionally done at one-room schoolhouses. They were generally a fundraiser of some sort, whether it was for the school itself or maybe for a family in the community that had an issue come up that needed some money. And so basically the premise was people, generally women, would bring pies to the school and then an auctioneer would auction them off. But the twist in there was that generally the pies were in decorated boxes, and so you didn't know who made the pies. And so it was like this guessing game, trying to figure out, which one your girlfriend or your wife might have made. And it was this kind of really cool ritual that they used to do a lot, especially back in the days with those rural schools.
So the pies were in boxes, and did people know what kind of pie they were buying?
I assume not. It was pretty much a very secret thing.
Yeah.
I did read about one, though. I don't remember where this was in particular, but they tried to pair the woman's shadow with her box. So like they would have, I don't really understand how that worked, but it was all very secretive and all about a guessing game.
You also talked a little bit about the dating scene at these pie suppers, if your wife or your girlfriend made a pie and brought a pie, but then there was also those people who were just starting to date and maybe they liked someone and thought, I'm gonna buy her pie.
Right, because in some cases, you were expected to eat the pie with whoever made it. So it was kind of like, you didn't want somebody eating with your girlfriend, eating her pie with her. And so it was this thing of trying to make sure you got the pie that you wanted to get. But there was also kind of a drama element because if other people in the community figured out that you guys were interested in each other, they would drive up the price of the pie. So you ended up having to pay a lot more than you might have had to otherwise.
Yeah, and what's interesting too is that as I was reading your article, they would raise, according to the articles you read too from back then, they would raise like a total of $5 in that one night. And back then that was a lot of money.
You think about that in terms of like what we see today, that would be nothing, but back then that was a huge amount for them. And the lady I interviewed about her memories, said that it would have been huge if a pie had brought $1 even back in the 40s. So things have changed.
What else did she tell you? You have some of what she said in the article. What was talking to her like? What are some of her memories?
It was really nice talking to her. She's a really, really sweet lady, and I was glad she shared some of her memories. But she's from down around in the Champion area, which is in Douglas County, and used to go to pie suppers down there back in the 40s, and actually went to some with her husband, and they all have been married 70 years in March, I think. And so a very long tradition for their relationship, even going back into the past. But you say it was also a form of recreation. Back when you didn't have the same type of things as we do today, you had those, and you were able to see your friends and have kind of a sense of community.
Yeah, and that is Frances Sutherland, who you interviewed and talked to. Yeah, and you talked about how there are still some versions of something like a pie supper today. And in your article, you mentioned how this wasn't just about the pie and the fundraising. It was about community and those traditions and bringing people together and creating those memories.
Yes, that's right. And yeah, like you said, and like was in the story too, that we do still see versions. We actually see pie suppers themselves occasionally, but anytime there's a fish fry or some kind of benefit, that's that same sentiment that we still see today that's carried over the generations.
Now, although we don't have something exactly like a pie supper, nowadays we have those versions, but you are going to bring back something like a pie supper. You have an event coming up on November 9th.
Yes, that's right.
Tell me more about that.
So it kind of just came to me one day. I've heard about pie suppers my whole life. My grandmother was a school teacher in a rural school and heard about them from her. And I thought it would be so cool to have one in an old-fashioned rural school, just like they used to, for people who either went to them in the past or had always heard about them and wanted to attend one. And so that's what we're going to do on November 9th. There is a renovated rural schoolhouse in Christian County called Bruner. It's in the little tiny community of Bruner. And we're going to have pie and music and ice cream and all sorts of stuff. And it's really just an excuse to be able to see what one of these was like firsthand.
And you said, too, that I found interesting that back then people would buy the pie and eat it right there. And that's the same thing that's going to happen on November 9th.
Yeah, we won't force anybody to eat their pie, but that's the plan. Yeah, so there'll be the auction, and I would say that people are not required to bring a pie. We'll have, I believe, enough that you don't have to bring one. We'd love them to if they want to, though. So if you buy a pie, you're welcome to enjoy it there. We'll have free ice cream for everybody. There'll be old-time fiddle music that people can listen to while they eat as well. So it's kind of just a collection of different things.
All right, perfect. And there's also another surprise I know you were getting ready to tell people about at the Pie Supper on November 9th. You have a book coming out.
I do. Yes, so this is a project that I've been really excited about for the last few months, but it's a guidebook to different places to see, primarily in the Missouri Ozarks. But it turned out to a list of 61 different places to go and visit. So there are restaurants and historic sites and just quirky, out-of-the-way places to go and visit. And that book will be there to purchase that evening as well. That's the plan. So it's going to kind of be an unofficial launch for that too.
All right. Now, if people are interested in buying the book but can't make it to the event, how can they do that?
They can go to ozarksalive.com. We have it. It's going to be there for sale. And actually, we may even be able to pre-order it in the next couple weeks. If they aren't able to make it, we can ship it as soon as it arrives too. So it's all the information's available there.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much for being here, Caitlin.
Thank you.
And as always, we'll have all of that information on our website, and you can always find Caitlin's articles on ozarksalive.com. We'll be right back with more right here on Ozarks Fox.